Welcome to the second rain garden class. Our topic today is site selection and planning your rain garden. In my experience, this is often the place that stops many people from actually putting in a rain garden. Do you get analysis paralysis? There are lots of other rain garden courses out on the interwebs, and there are loads of valuable manuals and written guidance about how to size your garden based on soils and slope and watershed, etc. This is all great information, but it sometimes makes the process seem more complicated than it actually is and can stop people from moving forward. But we in this class, we are not going to stop here. Both Lynn and I are passionate about being flexible, about simplifying the rain garden process so that more people can reap the joys of native plants like we both do and reduce stormwater runoff in the process. I am providing you with links to resource documents and tools that you can use to size and site your garden if you are a detail-oriented numbers person. But really, this video should be enough for many of you to get the job done. If you've ever put in a garden of any kind, you can do this. As we go along, keep these guidelines in mind as you picture your site. Number 1, even the smallest rain garden is still better than no rain garden. Therefore, if you calculate that your rain garden should be 6 foot by 10 foot in size, but you only have room for a 3 by 5 garden, then install the smaller garden. It will still add value, function, and color to your yard. The second guideline: if after watching this video you realize that your site isn't ideal for a traditional rain garden, please don't despair. Many of the plants we will learn about in Class 4 can be used in a seasonal wet spot in your yard. In these cases, your garden is just going to function more as habitat than as stormwater management, and that's still pretty awesome. In 2006, Geauga Soil and Water Conservation District spearheaded the development of the Rain Garden Manual for homeowners. It is currently in the process of being revised, but we've provided a link to this document for you to use as a guide. If you would like a hard copy, please contact our office. I want to start by introducing you to my most recent rain garden installation at my home. Since many of you are going to be putting a rain garden at your home, I wanted to start here before we move to our project site at the park so that you can get an idea of what a traditional rain garden would look like. We recently installed a new cover over our patio area, and it included new downspouts. So we wanted to be able to capture the increased rate of runoff from that impervious surface and allow it to slow down and soak into the ground. Eventually, that black corrugated piping will be buried, so it will blend seamlessly into the landscape. Now let's meet our park project site at Morgan Park. Our restroom facility does not have a downspout, but like all impervious surfaces, it does increase the rate of stormwater runoff. Before the installation of our rain garden, water would pond up against the trail edge. That area is compacted clay from the construction of the restroom. Our staff installed a pipe across the trail to drain the water into the new rain garden. Now, that water can pond in the rain garden after a rain event and can be utilized by the native plantings as it soaks into the ground. Now look at your property. While a downspout is the most obvious source to discharge into a rain garden, you may have a drainage swale, a shed, or even a driveway or sidewalk from which to capture stormwater runoff. A word of caution though, be sure to locate your rain garden at least 10 foot away from your home to avoid impacting your foundation. You'll notice that I essentially extended an existing flower bed, making the rain garden downstream. Look at your yard and identify opportunities to slow down water that's running downhill towards the storm drain or ditch. Remember, we're making little water speed bumps here. Now, perhaps you already have those wet spots in your yard and you're thinking, Jen, I don't need another water speed bump. Those existing poorly drained areas are not ideal for a traditional rain garden. Instead, they are ideal areas to be planted with native plants that thrive in wet conditions. You will see this diagram again during the plant class, but residential lawn has nearly no ecological value, so please stop trying to grow grass in problem areas. Instead, use native plants. Once you've selected your rain garden site, it's highly recommended that you conduct a simple perk test. That's short for percolation. Your soil type will dictate how fast or slow water soaks into the ground. Doing a perk test before you start constructing your garden will tell you how deep your rain garden should be. Rain gardens are not designed to hold water for long periods of time. It takes most mosquitoes approximately 72 hours to grow from eggs to adult. We do not want our rain garden to have standing water for days. Start by digging a hole that's approximately 6 inches wide and 6 inches deep. Notice that my hole was more like 8 inches deep, but it's not a big deal. You should do a perk test at least 24 hours after a rain so that your results aren't thrown off by already saturated soil. Fill your hole with water. And just as a side note, if it's been dry for a long period of time, fill your hole with water and let it sit for at least an hour and then top it off again. Now check back in an hour and see how far the water level has dropped. Now, if the water is gone within 18 to 24 hours, this is a great place for a rain garden. If the water is still present in the hole, you'll just adjust the depth of your rain garden to avoid having that standing water. We were good to go after 24 hours, so the Morgan Park Rain Garden's a go. You can use the information from your perk test with one of the rain garden sizing tools. On the last page of the rain garden manual, there's a worksheet I've used many times to size gardens. I've also provided a link on our site for an Excel spreadsheet from Summit SWCD that's a super easy calculator for rain garden size. There are other equation tools available as well. You'll find that no matter which tool you use, the recommended rain garden size is going to be about the same. For a typical home downspout, a rain garden that's about the size of a small car will capture the rainwater from a typical storm. But remember my guideline number one, a smaller rain garden is still better than no rain garden at all. Enjoy planning your rain garden location. Next class, we begin the real digging.